but to the final Science and Stoke webinar from RPI Challenge. It's great to see you all here. We've got Coach Tim, we've got Namrita, we've got some of the faces that you already know and some new faces. And today is really about what is next. We've had such a cool experience together and have bonded as teammates. And I know a lot of you have been on the Facebook group and texting me like, I love you guys. Oh my God, what am I going to do without you? Oh, I'm so stressed. What do I do next? And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And this is a Q&A. And what is the transition from all this amazing work that you've done, the goal that you set, you've achieved it, accomplished it. And then what do we do now? So as always, there is a question box that you can ask your questions. We will get to them either during the discussion or at the end. So go ahead and type away whenever you're ready. And we'll go on to the next slide, Tim.
I'm not doing my job already. There we go.
So just a little bit about what we achieved together. And this was the first year of RPI Challenge. And I've told you guys all, you are pioneers because you came on a ride with me, with us, with our partners that we didn't know it was going to happen and we didn't know how it was going to turn out. And so you're truly groundbreaking. This program is groundbreaking because it really filled a need for a lot of us. And what was really interesting this year about RPI, while it was more intimate than ever before, I rode my courses alone or with one or two friends for the first time ever in my life, but it also felt more global and more connected in a really unique way. And just a little wrap up, we had 85 countries, 70% female participation, which I'm really proud of, from 14 to 65 years old. So we really broadened the scope of who can be part of this, who can be part of this event. And I'm really extremely proud of that. We raised $35,000 for increasing diversity, inclusivity, and equity in cycling, which I'm also really proud of. We cannot measure the Stoke. We cannot measure the personal growth that you had or the purpose that you rode for. And so I'm pretty proud of us all for not giving up and for showing up and doing something new and different and exciting that felt a lot like RPI, but actually, like I said, more intimate and more global at the same time. All right, Coach Tim, next slide. And that was my finish line. Typically there's 1,500 people at that finish line, but it was really fun to do that with a few people, but don't take my word for it. Some of the comments, I'm putting a few comments up here of things that you guys have said about the program, and really saying, you know, I needed the connection, I needed the structure, I needed the community, I needed the accountability. And when I started this program, it was kind of about what I needed. As a professional athlete, I needed all those things, but then I started to think about, well, I think everybody else needs those things too. And so opening up my world, a network of my coach, nutrition pro friends, really resonated with all of you. And that's what made me the most proud, is reading comments like this is like, I didn't think I could do it. Thank you for not canceling. Thank you for being there. It's just, thank you for sharing your stories with us, because that motivates all of us here to want to work harder. And that's why we have this What's Next webinar, because we want to keep going with you as well. It's really important for us to continue the community that we built and continue the personal development that's happening and also the global purpose. And so next slide, Coach Tim.
I'm getting better.
And like I said, you guys reinforced my motivation. We may have been motivating you, but what was happening on the flip side is you're absolutely motivating us. And we're realizing that as a community of either pros or amateur or total beginner on the spectrum of the scale around the world, no matter where you live, we all need to move our bodies, we need to connect with each other, and we all want to feel like we're contributing to something bigger. And if you have some spare time, when you need a boost, go search the hashtag RPI Challenge and start looking at all of your pictures, all of your comments, all of your shares. If that's not community, I don't know what it is. And so I want more of that. And I know that you guys want more of that too. And that's really what tonight is about, is to talk about what's the transition for the next goal. And you know, the actual challenge was not really the important part. The part is that we showed up as a community, we learn together, we grow together, and we build. And so we need a what's next. So what's next slide, Coach Tim.
You know, just to add before we go there, it really was amazing to see
Yeah.
how much community we had. I mean, I can tell you as a coach, you know, I rode along, I participated, and that was great, but it really was motivating to me. I mean, I went out and rode hard and had a great time. It was so wonderful to get the opportunity to share with people. I can absolutely tell you one thing. I would have not trained that much. I would have not ridden my bike that much. I would have not, I would be probably be 5 pounds heavier if it wasn't for the group. Besides the fact it was really enjoyable and it was great to work and get to know everybody. So it was really
I
awesome.
mean, and that's such a good point, Tim, because like I said, I started it because I needed help. And by reaching out to all of you and inviting you into my world, you actually ended up helping me, and you helped Tim coach not to be 5 pounds overweight. And this is very unique in that all of our staff, all of our coaches, everybody was taking part and everybody was part of it. So it wasn't like us telling you, oh, go do your intervals. We were doing them with you. And that's part of what's next in the Basecamp that we're going to talk about. I think that's the magic of it. People hold pros up or coaches up on this pedestal as if they're not human. And really we are all human, which means we have a brain, we have feelings, we have lack of motivation. We have all the same things. They're just on a different level or a different platform or a different amount of watts that you might be putting out. But the similarities between all of us was really relevant, and it totally motivated me to keep working harder on this kind of a program.
You know, it's going to be great.
All right, what do we have next?
Here's going to be something that's going to be really exciting and interesting. A couple of years from now, I'm going to do an interview and they're going to be like, hey, Tim, tell me about the story when you had to work the hardest to motivate an athlete. And my story is going to start out, well, there was this one time where I had to find 500 friends, get them all into a social community so Rebecca would ride her bike. It's going to be a great interview. Remember, I said that now because you'll see it in Velo News someday.
It's the difference between trying to motivate someone like Amber, who is completely self-motivated and doesn't really need anything, and then me, who needs 500 people to come in and make sure I do my workout. So thank you for the group effort, all of you who showed up to RPI Challenge, because I really did need you. I needed your support. I needed your motivation. And it's just so cool to see what we all got out of it personally. And especially, you guys all know, we dedicated the race this year to my good friend, Pete Beers. He died just a week before the RPI Challenge on his bike ride, preparing for the challenge with the group. And one of the things that he always said to me, it was one of his quotes, is we should go for a bike ride. And he was very much the person who really felt like the bike heals, and going on a long bike ride really can solve just about anything. And so that really is the mission of RPI and the RPI Challenge, and the reason that all of us need to keep riding. It's a lot more than just how many watts you push out. It's a lot more than just, checking a green box on your training peaks. It really is about your own personal human development, and what we do as athletes really does form us and shape us as human beings. And so, in Pete's words, we should all go for a bike ride. And so that's where we want to transition to Coach Tim. What's the next bike ride we're all going to go on together?
Okay, let's talk what's next. We do have a program, obviously, and I know a lot of people. What I also really enjoyed in this session was seeing and having this experience of going through the idea of training. I gotta be honest, I was a little surprised how many people in the group that this was your first organized training session. And that was really cool. And it was great to see people learn and understand some of the underlying science of training, some of the underlying science of strength, and of course, led by Namrita, some of the underlying science of nutrition. I think, and I know Namrita and I talked about it a couple of times. It was really great to work with you guys, and do it. But really, it was refreshing for me to some degree. I do a lot of advanced analytic education and things like that. It was really great to go back to those grassroots of learning. And the reality is we have a program called Basecamp. We've been doing Basecamp. This will be really the fourth year, the third public year of Basecamp. It's a program based on the social community training process that you just went through. It's similar to what you've seen in RPI, but different. It really is about evolving the experience. One of the things that I'm seeing all the time right now And we're getting it. We're seeing it in our business. People are already switching into 2021 mode, right? Let's face it, 2020 is the gift that seems to want to keep on giving here. We'd like to put it more in the rearview mirror for us. And I think one of the ways we're doing that is we're focusing on 2021. And I think a lot of people just want to make 2021 amazing. I think the way we do that is we build on top of the Giddy Up, which I thought was an awesome kickoff event. I know nothing else would have ever made me have any desire to do a Everest, but I did it on a trainer, which I recommend for no one ever. And then the RPI Challenge motivated more. And to me, it really brings me excited about 2021. I hope to get in really good shape. I want to do some additional racing now. And that's part of not just what we did, part of not just escaping what we did in 2020, but it's part of the comeback process, right? And the challenge. And I really want to keep this idea of the social training community. I think what we're building and forming here, what we have Basecamp meets Rebecca and RPI and Giddy Up is really something special. And, and going through with people, I think that was really this shared vision of training and support. And I want to keep building on that. So the reality is Basecamp has some similarities in it as a program. And I want to talk tonight, I'm going to go pretty fast about the what. I want to meet the team, talk about some services, some plans and prices, and not make it too selly in that way. I am the worst salesperson. When people say, Tim, let's sell something, I just want to educate. I hate selling. Educating is the key. So I'm going to try to give people some ideas and thoughts might want to join. The first thing I want to do, though, is introduce the teams. Rebecca, do you have a question?
I just want to say for all of you who right now are kind of about to tune out and go, I don't like indoor training. I'm not an indoor trainer. I can't do it. I don't like it. It's no fun. Don't tune out, because I was that person as well. And Tim got me involved this winter with Basecamp because he was my coach. And we met for some group workouts. And I am a reluctant indoor trainer. And I really looked forward to those Tuesday, Thursday mornings when we were doing workouts together. It kept me accountable. And so if you're like me and you're like, I just work out outside, hang in there, because like Tim said, it took 500 people to motivate me to do my training program. This was really cool. And I was really surprised. And I actually am not one of those people who have typically embraced a structure like this. I always want something free form, but I realize I need the structure. And I think most people are like that. So that was the only caveat, is that I wouldn't have been your typical client who would have jumped in. And the whole reason Tim and I partnered up together for Giddy Up and RPI and now Basecamp is that I needed it. It works. It's really fun. I had a great time. And so I just wanted to open with that.
Okay.
Take it away.
Great. And it is, and I think people see it that way. And it really is the social engagement side of it that can be fun. So let's just talk a little bit about the team, because I'm going to talk you through the program, but it's not going to be that hard because you're pretty familiar with it. You've just gone through a program powered by Basecamp, so you have some understanding. But I asked some of the teammates, we're missing a couple here. One of the key differences in the Giddy Up program, you're stuck with just me, for better or for worse. Now, as we move into Basecamp, and we really are talking about, and the reason we call it Basecamp, right? It's your winter-based training. So if you want to make 2021 something special, crush the Giddy Up, crush the RPI, totally conquer your events, it all comes down to the work you do over the winter, right? That's when you win races. It's the work you put in. And that work has to be balanced with your goals, desires, and needs, meet what you can and cannot do, time restrictions, life, and all that other stuff, right? And it's got to be fun and engaging. And you've already felt a touch of that, so that's there. Now in Basecamp, what's great is we accomplish all that. We focus on that base or foundational training, but it's not just single coach led. We have a team. And on this team are some pretty amazing people. And one of the things that I love about working with this team is we bring such an array of different talent. So I'm just going to take you through some quick introductions of the ones that are here and even some of the ones that aren't. Up there in the squares somewhere is Amber Neben. So a lot of you know Amber from the first Rush Hour Live, talking about what it takes, the why behind the champion. Amber is a 3-time world champion, multi-time Olympian, multi-time national champion, is literally packing her bags right now to leave for Italy for this year's World Championships, and has already been named for the Olympic long team and is striving to make the Olympic short team, which is the ones that go to the Olympics. You're going to get the chance to train and ride with Amber. Amber and the next person I'm about to introduce pretty much are our road and time trial experts. Amber has, I don't know, how many professional years have you been racing now, Amber? 38, 40, something like that?
Full time on the road since 2002.
That's a lot of years.
So
That's
2001 I was racing. We're working on 20 years.
Yep. I did know the answer.
Thank you for telling everybody.
Yeah, a couple of years. I didn't want to say your age out live.
That's okay, I own it.
Because 45 sounds like a lot.
45.6 now.
So you guys get to ride and work with Amber, you know, an amazing resource. She'll be training her base training for the Olympics along with you. Right underneath her in my grid is Scott Moniger. Scott is the winningest male pro ever. 275 professional wins, has pretty much won every race in America you can imagine, and pretty much done it multiple times. Scott is, you know, when it comes down to training, he's an amazing coach, works with some pros and some of Amber's competitors, actually. Got to keep an eye on him. And really brings a lot to the table as far as the coaching and road expertise. For those athletes that are a little more performance oriented, obviously these two also have a tremendous amount of race and event experience. Scott is still professional gravel racing for the Panaracer team. So I announced him as kind of working with Amber on the road, but also has a tremendous amount of gravel experience in what he's doing now. So Scott was a pro for 17 years, Scott?
You got it.
17 years. And now he's going into his 3rd year of professional gravel racing. I won't say his age either, because then it becomes an age competition between us, but he's pretty amazing, still hitting some pro top 10s, let's just say well into his 50s. So an amazing athlete. Up here on the top right, now start talking about our mountain bike and gravel team. We have Serena Gordon. So Serena is, as you guys know, she was in the mix with you here. She didn't talk a lot because I know she had a lot going on, but she was in the RPI Challenge. She came in 2nd. She's a professional racer for the Live team, so she's one of Rebecca's teammates. She is a coach with us on our team also, an amazing coach, coaches athletes one-on-one, and is a superstar in Basecamp, leads a lot of our West Coast rides. Serena is not only has the background in mountain bike, but also knows her gravel racing. So again, an excellent resource for those areas. Hi, Serena. A couple of other coaches.
Can I note, Serena was 2nd overall in the Queen's Stage race for RPI this year. Not just 2nd female, 2nd overall. She's a rock star. And Scott Moniger has not yet placed on the podium anywhere near RPI. So Scott, there's your challenge.
Next year, you got to get Serena. All right. So missing from the group is Brig Brandt. Brig is our USA Cycling Level 1 coach. He's a former professional mountain biker. He's a very talented coach. As a matter of fact, he is Serena's coach. So, and part of our team, runs a fair amount of our West Coast rides also. We also then have 2 other ride leader coaches. We have Kate, you know Kate from the RPI group. You see her as Kate Roxanne on Facebook, Kate Johnson in our group. Kate will be a ride leader and helping us out in some rides. She lives in Hawaii, so she's going to be handling the early morning rides. No, she'll be handling the evening rides or some of the afternoon, helping us out there. We have Jim Pomeroy, who's going to be helping us. We have our special guest, Rebecca. Rebecca is the queen of Stoke and is going to be supplying energy. And she's going to be training right alongside, like all of us, right alongside with you in the program. And then finally, we have Namrita. This program has a nutrition and a strength element. Namrita runs the nutrition element here. We actually go a little deeper in this version, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But you have some new faces and some old faces. So I'm going to close on this, right? One of the things that happens when you put so many amazing professionals in a group, until you get to know it a little bit, you get intimidated. And I hear this all the time. Well, wow, that must be like super hyper special, crazy training where I've got to ride my bike 20 hours a week and do all this stuff. No, part of what I love about this team is they're real people. They're going to be interacting with you in social. They're going to be talking to you in our group rides. They're going to be helping you when you need help. You're going to learn an amazing amount from the most talented people out there if you join up. So don't think pro, it's kind of nice on the resume, but then you think, ooh, it's too much for me. It's really just an amazing group of teachers and educators. So amazing team. Let me walk you through how it works because that'll point out some of the differences. So step one is you join the community at Basecamp. It's joinbasecamp.com. Step two, though, is we take a training survey on you. So you have to fill out this information telling us how you train, what are your goals, what do you do, how many hours, when, because one of the key differences here is your training plan is customized to you. The RPI, we built a plan around the event. Here, we're going to build the plan around you. So we gather information from you first. Step three is we get connected. Not only do you join our Facebook group, we have a Facebook group. It'll run just pretty much like what you saw in RPI, except we have a total of 8 coaches and nutritionists kind of monitoring the field and answering your questions as they come. We also actually in Basecamp do something a little different. All your Training Peaks accounts get attached to the Basecamp account, and all of our coaches can actually see your information. So when we review files, we're going to different people. We're helping people who need help. We actually have the access to your data. So we connect the dots. We make that circle a little tighter. You then get your training plan. 5, you start riding. One of the key differences, I'm going to give one slide on a couple of key differences here in a minute, is we ride together in certain days. Even though your plan's customized, it's kind of synced together in other ways that we actually ride together. And then step 6, we just keep the conversation going, meaning we're posting, we're talking about workouts, we're talking about rides, we're talking about, all the fun stuff that we talk about, just like RPI. So a couple of key differences. There is deeper community support, and really it's just the fact that we have a deeper team, meaning you get faster responses to your questions, you get more rounded views. I might have a view and Serena might add some color commentary to it, and then Scott, and then some Amber. So you really get to learn from a different group of experts, right? You also get plenty of Stoke. I mean, that's what we have Rebecca for. Not that she doesn't do a great job also of answering questions. And as we know, just the energy of us being able to feed off each other, support each other, lean on the coaches when we need that little extra oomph. We'll be there for you. And, you get the whole team approach. Second key difference is, as I said, your training plan is more customized to you, to your training volume, your training frequency, your life schedule, and your targets. And whether your goal is to win a national championship or just finish, your local century, that's great. We customize that program to you and what your goals are. But we do it in a really unique way. This is really cool how we do it. You're all unique, but we sync the team together for common workouts. So there's some workouts where your workouts and your schedule is totally unique. And then suddenly you join on a group ride and we're all doing the same workout in the group workout. And it's pretty tricky. It's pretty cool, actually. I'm proud of how it all comes together. It's like taking 96 different trains and running them down the track and making them all run on time, but it works. Another element, and this is what Rebecca was talking about, we ride together. And we ride together on Zwift. We sometimes use, we have some challenges we'll do, not always on Zwift, but we ride together on Zwift. And the reality is, we do 2 to 3 group trainings a week. Usually Tuesdays and Thursdays are our weekdays, and we have some Saturday meetups and challenges. So once a month, once every 4 weeks, a training cycle, we have a challenge. And that challenge is like a compete or a complete. You can either compete in a challenge, I want to win, or just go to complete the challenge, I want to finish it. So like the first challenge I know is an online metrics entry in under 3 hours. That's the compete. And we're going to get together and see if we can run a metrics entry in under 3 hours. And we'll have some horsepower. Maybe we could talk Scott and Amber. I know I absolutely will be there. And Rebecca, we could take some hard pulls and get you there. But that type of challenge. I know we have another challenge. We're going to climb the Alpe du Zwift. If you're competing, you have to climb it. I think it's like in an hour 10 is the complete challenge. Or we're going to, if you want to race it, you can race us up Alpe du Zwift. So we have all kinds of fun challenges. We're interacting. We're doing all those things as a group together. Now, in this group stuff, we chat and interact and talk. As a matter of fact, Scott and I were voted the most entertaining coaches last year on the East Coast rides because we were way funnier than Serena, Brig, and Amber. I know you guys, everybody's great. Our coaches lead these group rides. So if you come on a group ride, you get one of these people, usually 2 of them, well, half the time 2 of them, in your group rides, working with you, riding with you, chatting with you, guiding you through the workout. And it's a really awesome way to learn because not only you're following kind of like in Zwift, it's an automated workout, you're working with a coach. And the reality is we stay together. Zwift has a group workout system. That means you look like this big group. So we're riding, chatting. And if you know, somebody has a threshold of 300 watts and somebody has a threshold of 200 watts, or somebody can average 20 miles an hour, or somebody can only manage 15 miles an hour, it doesn't matter. The computer keeps us together. So we always train together. We execute the same workout together. It's kind of really fun, motivating, and there is some trash talk that occasionally happens. I'm just saying. So good, fun in the group rides. Program pricing, we always try to keep this just something really reasonable. One of the things that we see, one-on-one coaching is so expensive and such a tough luxury to afford. The normal pricing is $349 for our regular Basecamp and $479 for our pro model. Really the difference of the two when you go on the website, this is the training. What you get when you upgrade here, right? You get a customized strength training plan. So of the 16 weeks of the program kicks off, and I'm going to jump into the website as we do Q&A, which is the next slide. So this is like my last slide, I think. And then you get the strength training program and Namrita's nutrition program. And this nutrition program is a little different. It goes a little deeper. It's a Basecamp nutrition program, which has more of a boot camp feel, where literally if you eat too much, Namrita comes to your house and roughs you up. It's pretty scary. No, but we do have a really great program. She goes deeper and has more fun with it, but more guidance, more energy, a specific group around this nutrition. I definitely look forward to it. At my current pace, I will be number 1 in line because I'll need it worse than anyone. But you can read about the details of the difference of the two. This is the total cost for the 16-week program. Which if you think about the exposure and interaction you get here is amazing exposure and interaction and a really great program. You can check out all the details on joinbasecamp.com. Like I said, I'm going to go to it during the Q&A. So if you want to start asking questions, that's great. Rebecca, you might see some questions. My question box isn't working, so I might need you to...
I'll feed them to you. So yeah, this is perfect. So thanks, Coach Tim. And one of the things that you said that I really love, like I said to all of you, I'm a little bit of a reluctant indoor trainer and been pretty new to Zwift. And I really love the fact that we do all ride together, because I've done some Zwift group rides where I'm just like dropped off in 5 seconds. I'm like number 500 of, 1,000 people, and I don't really know what's going on. But in the Basecamp rides, you're together. And so that is quite a difference for me. If anyone has experience in Zwift and you've joined a ride before, this was different because we are all kind of together and it felt nicer. So the first question, Tim, is from Jessica Moore. She says, is there any way this can be done by riding on a Peloton?
Yes, actually it can be done on a Peloton, but the Peloton won't let you log into Zwift, so you would not be able to participate in the group rides. Now, I believe Peloton is going to put that capacity into play in November, meaning you're going to be able to log on to Zwift from your Peloton in November.
Okay,
So
but could they at this point have their Peloton and be riding and have the Zwift up on an iPad, but the devices wouldn't be connected? Is that
correct.
right?
The problem is the devices would not connect. They wouldn't talk.
Okay.
Zwift needs to launch
Okay.
Peloton, the bike Peloton support.
Well, let's cross our fingers for November that those people end up playing nice. But I will say, so what is for someone who has a Peloton, Tim? I mean, they can still do the workouts, can still all do that, all that. They just wouldn't be in the group rides.
Correct. The difference would be just that. You couldn't participate in the group.
Okay.
Everything else you could do, you can
Okay.
do training, talk, everything, just not group ride.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to feed you the next question from Allie. It says, generally base training starts November, but it's hard to know what races might happen be in 2021.
Yeah.
Welcome to Amber's world. Other than the really big ones, you will likely answer this, but not to forget, what is the deadline to sign up?
Well,
so when's the deadline to sign up? And then there's some early bird pricing that you put on there as well.
Yeah. So two great points. The deadline, you can sign up all the way till November 30th. But once it kicks off, we don't let people in, because then it makes it hard for the people who've been in because new people come in and ask the same questions. A big part of Basecamp, when you start talking about using Zwift, and like we automate everything. We're going to show you how to link your Training and Peaks account right to Zwift. So all you do every day is just open Zwift. Oh, there's my workout. There's my group ride. Done, right? We teach people, we'll walk you through that right at the beginning of Basecamp. So if we don't all join together and go through the experience together, it gets tough. So the 30th is the join point. The pricing, you can get the early bird pricing if you sign up by October 9th. But here's the secret. Your registration is fully refundable through November 16th, because we know people, Basecamp is sold out all 3 years. And I say this every year, like, guys, make sure you sign up or it's going to sell out. And then it sells out. And then people post on our Facebook site, we didn't get in. We cap it. We don't break the rules. When it starts, it starts. And every year we say that and people are like, they're just fooling. And then it sells out. 2 years ago, both years it sold out in October. Last year, we opened up another 20 spots. We did break our own rule. I shouldn't say that, because that waiting list was so big, we let them in, but it was only for like a week. So if you want to sign up, get the early bird pricing. It saves $50 on the Pro, $100 on the Pro, $50 on the Standard.
Well, and it's refundable till November 16th. So if something changes, you can always, that's great.
But also understand
that's awesome.
the program is focused on building a great foundation that you can apply throughout the season. It's somewhat event agnostic, meaning the beauty is actually when you finish this program, you're a couple of weeks before the Giddy Up. So it actually will also get you in really good shape for the next Giddy Up. But the reality is we want to improve your aerobic foundation. I could use science terms and all this other stuff, right? So that all of the stuff you do in 2021 is better. We're going to bring the same science and STOKE to your training we brought in the RPI to really build a better you, build a bigger engine. And then everything you do on top of that as you go after your goals should be better.
I mean, that's a super good point, Tim. Is like, we may not know what we're training for, but you might as well, like my former coach used to say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And Amber is in this absolute world right now of, imagine if she just totally let her training slide because the Olympics were canceled, whatever, and then worlds pop up. She had a week's notice. And so, you know, you may not know what you're doing in 2021, but absolutely you're going to be a better human. If you're training, you feel better, you've taken control of your fitness. It kind of doesn't matter what that event is. But like Tim said, the whole reason we've partnered is you're going to roll right into Giddy Up Challenge. You're going to have your summer, you're going to roll into RPI. So even if you don't know exactly what's on your calendar, that's no reason to not take control of your fitness and stay ready so you don't have to get ready. All right, next question from Tracy. How will the group Zwift training transcend the difference of time zones?
So we do 2 time zones a day, sometimes 3, so that East and West Coast can make it. If you're in between, you flip a coin and pick your what works for you. So often Serena, Amber, and Brig will lead stuff on the West Coast. Scott, Jim, and myself will lead the East Coast. We have Kate in Hawaii, so she, if we go to a third, she'll usually be West Coast, but might be doing the late night session or the early morning session, depending on how you look at it. So we get multiple options each Tuesday and Thursday. Saturdays, we for the challenges is 1, but we kind of try to equalize it for everybody to have a kind of common challenge time midday-ish. And we also have a process of group meetups, where we have a meetup board. Riders figure out how to do meetups where they'll do workouts on Saturdays and Sundays together as small groups. And that tends to just become regional by timeframes.
That's really cool. Okay, from B, hey, Coach Tim, can Basecamp be tailored to an athlete recovering from an injury?
Yes and no. So overall, it's the best training for an athlete recovering for an injury in general, but I'm afraid to say that without specifics, so I'm just generalizing, right? Because if you're coming back from an injury, particularly one that's taking you off the bike, 12 to 16 weeks of just regaining aerobic fitness, rebuilding that, the way your body makes energy aerobically, should be your first return to fitness. There is not a tremendous amount of intensity in this program, so the intensity can be worked out. And as you do that, you can ask those questions in the Facebook group, because there's a lot of injury in these pictures here between all these coaches. You know, you certainly would get some pretty amazing advice on how to come back and work through it. So the answer is in general, yes, because it's a good strategy, but I also don't want to overcommit something we don't do. We're not going to write you a specific injury recovery plan. You might need, you know, your plan will be customized to you and your schedule, but it's not going to say, oh, your left knee surgery, we're going to do right-legged pedaling or something like that.
No, that's a good answer. Okay, so from Kathy, she says, I only own old school rollers. What do I need to buy to get on Zwift and connect?
Oh, that's a great answer, or a great question. Because we've got an answer for you. Our main sponsor, if you're kind of looking where I was flowing around, is Ceres. So Ceres Trainers, really a great partner for us. When you join Basecamp, we have a virtual swag bag with some pretty good deals, and you bet a really good discount on all of the Ceres trainer and Infinity plates. I don't know, it's like, shamefully, I don't know the answer, but I think it's a good 10 to 15% off, you know, the kind of wholesalely price. So it's a really good deal. So it really depends. I recommend they have a mid-range smart trainer. Like if you don't want to spend too much money, it's a really great product in the middle range. And that's all you need. Everything else is just, then you can.
You kind of have to have a smart trainer that will talk to your Zwift account. Yes. Is that right, Tim? Okay.
You need any trainer will talk to Zwift, even a dumb trainer, quote unquote. Here's another secret, right? I know this for a fact. Don't spread this around. If you buy a trainer this October, November from us, you get a free 90-day Zwift account. So you also get your Zwift account for free when you buy the trainer. They send a gift card in the box. So
goes right to the next question. Is a Zwift membership included in the Basecamp cost? I already have a Zwift account. So, I mean, as people are trying to figure out all the tools they need to be set up for this. So what's the Zwift membership if you get a trainer? But if they already have one, or is it, if they don't have one, is it included in Basecamp?
It is not included in Basecamp because about a third of our people don't do the you don't have to do this program indoors. About a third of our people do it outdoors. They live in California, they live in Florida, and they just want the guidance, the group interaction, and stuff like that, but they're not necessarily somebody who rides a trainer. So about a third of our people. So we originally set it up that way years ago, but then people are like, well, I'm riding outdoors, I don't need the Zwift account. So we made the price cheaper and let people purchase the Zwift account. You could do the same thing on Trainer Road. You could do the same thing on RGT or different online programs if you want to use your program. The only thing that's different is group rides. If you want to do the group rides, we
Awesome. That's the next question from Elizabeth. Can non-group rides, can the workouts be loaded into Trainer Road? So that's
Absolutely.
great, Tim. You just answered that one. Yes.
And you can actually do Trainer Road and Zwift together. People don't know that, but it's pretty cool to do them together, but you can.
You know, and I'll kind of reinforce, you know, I'm like technology averse a little bit. I love to ride outside, but all of this stuff, it really has made me more accountable, or I'm busy, or I only have an hour, or it's snowing outside. I show up, you know, for those workouts. And so it has been worth it for me to put the equipment and the tools in place and have them ready to go. So Lisa asks, what do I need to do to hook up with Zwift? And I'm not on Facebook. What should I do?
So another great question. Our program walks you through the technology. For those who know my particular background, I'm a software technology person. We've developed a simple 4-step onboarding. Once you sign up for the program, you get an email getting you prepared for that. Then starting on November 9th, you get 4 emails. And they walk you through one step at a time, how to set it up. Each step takes 2 to 3 minutes to do. We have what we call the locker room, the Basecamp locker room, which is our members only section, where not only does that, like we talk about our live events and have our meeting boards and stuff like that, and all the challenges and leaderboards, there's a very vibrant support. Our support, me and Amber and Serena, and I still have to get Scott in one this year. We do short little support videos. They're all like 2 to 3 minutes long, walking you through steps if you have a question. And you could post that question on Facebook. Now, I also know that the question was, Facebook, I don't know if this will work. It might be blocked still. Yeah, so what we do with our Facebook program for people who don't Facebook, all of the relevant posts are translated to our blog. So you could always just follow the blog, and when we do training reviews or training interaction or tips for next week or anything like that, that is important. I can't say every post because a lot of people are posting and just chatting, but all of the guidance posts end up on the blog, and we update that daily. Then we send you a weekly digest of those posts. So whether you're reading the Facebook or not, sometimes it's hard to keep up, right? They scroll by or you lose them. We actually send you that digest once a week of the key ones. So you could use the kind of Reader's Digest 2-minute version of, I can get caught up really quick on times behind.
Awesome. That's great, Tim. And then kind of similar question, I've never used Zwift. What kind of indoor trainer would I need? I think you already answered this, that you can use any sort of indoor trainer, right? It can be the old school kind, whatever. Is that right?
Yeah. But the cheaper smart trainers, or it depends what you want. If you want the high end, all our coaches ride the Ceres H3, which is their high end trainer. And the retail price for that's about $999, I'm pretty sure is what it is. So that's a lot of money to put in a trainer, but it makes an amazing experience. You feel everything. You feel every climb, you feel the intervals, you feel all the stuff. The mid-range smart trainers are getting much better for the money now. You know what I mean? The technology is catching up at the mid-range level. You can get a pretty good smart trainer now for about $300 to $400, and that will really make an amazing experience here in the winter.
You know, it made a difference for me. I had an old school one that I just hooked my bike on. And then this was the first year I got a smart trainer. And I found I enjoyed riding inside a lot more. And I left the bike set up. It was ready to go. Like, it wasn't this process every time I went for a ride. And I was really happy with the equipment upgrade, and I was reluctant. So it's worth the investment if you want to take your fitness and your health pretty seriously, which it sounds like all you guys do because you're here in this group. Okay, so somebody asked, this is from Nate, who says, what types of events are Basecamp training best suited for? Like, what kinds of events are Basecamp members training for? Is it sprint? Is it Olympics? Is it, gravel? What is it? What can you train for?
Great question. All of it. So part of the reason, one of the key differences here is when we do RPI, we do Giddy Up, right? We're training everybody for one specific event. When you do your training survey, you're going to tell us what you want to do, and we're going to give you the customized plan to accomplish what you want to do. That is one of the big differences. So if you say, I want to win the Olympics, my local state crit, or I just want to complete a century, you're going to get a plan that's going to help you accomplish your goals.
And what if I want to do all of that?
We can do that too, but it's harder.
Okay,
Then we send you over to Amber.
Totally. Okay, so Mark asks, is there a plan after the winter training brings you to the event, what to do best between each event to keep fitness at its highest level? So there's a lot going on in this question, but kind of, Mark, like we've already said, after the winter training, our goal with this kind of like cyclical program together is you would roll right into hopefully the Giddy Up Challenge and Everesting Hill Climbing Challenge, in the spring. And so the whole reason Basecamp is in the winter is to get you ready for your spring events, and we would roll into Giddy Up or whatever else you have planned. The second part, which Tim, you can talk about too, is what to do in between events to keep fitness at the highest level.
Well, we have programs in Basecamp, so when Basecamp completes, right, we have different tracks based on what you want to do. The Giddy Up to RPI track is an excellent solution. If you're doing things in between, we actually have the ability, like our coaches, like I know Serena, Amber by the summer doesn't participate in that because she's usually going to nationals, going to Olympia, whatever her deal is. And Scott is usually racing full time. But I know Serena and Brig, we do custom programs. We can actually do it for you on a one-on-one basis after Basecamp if you have a unique need. So we'll work with you to get you through that. We have coaching services. I know one or two of the people coming out of RPI are now hiring coaches. So sometimes you go to a one-on-one coaching. Once you get a taste for what that means, and if you want more, obviously, one-on-one coaching is a natural evolution too. So you really get this plethora of answers. And that's kind of what's cool about the community, right? You find your place in the community and what works for you. So, it evolves as you evolve through the community.
Tim, you said something really cool on the Facebook group right after we all, did our weekend, we all raced super hard. And you put a comment in there, it's like, now just go ride your bike for a little while. And there's an ebb and flow of peak fitness training and intensity, and then just riding your bike for fun without structure, or a very loose structure where you might be doing sort of natural intervals. I do this all the time. Like maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll go on a shorter ride and I'll like sprint to the next tree, or I'll like go hard on the uphills and just do something natural like that. And then on the weekends, I do a long adventure ride, and it's semi-structured, but it's not like an actual super hardcore training program where you're reporting into a coach. And I think it's nice to sometimes give yourself that break while you're still maintaining fitness. You're still riding your bike, but it's not like this, like down to the minute, down to the second intervals. And I think it's important to kind of respect that sort of ebb and flow so that you do come in then to Basecamp or the next structured training program really ready to go and kind of missing that structure. But enjoy the time right now, because just the fitness is, like Tim said, the fitness is to go ride your bike and feel really strong and feel good.
Agreed.
Okay, next question from Jen. Is a power meter necessary? When I've used Width before, my Connect trainer and speed sensor seem fine to use, or wait, my kinetic trainer and speed sensor seem fine to use for regular rides. So is a power meter necessary?
Nope. You'll have the same quality experience. Power meter is, to me, the best because it's the most precise. Heart rate monitor, perceived exertion, or just using the estimated power from Zwift, all works just fine.
Awesome. And Shannon kind of touched on what we were just talking about. What should I be doing between now and November? How much fitness to hold going into Basecamp? Like, what do I do now, Coach Tim?
We assume you're going to lose a fair amount of your fitness. And this is funny, and you know, I have such good coaches here. I got to get them more involved in it. But like, we tend to think about fitness as like, we want to grow fitness to a level, get to this plateau and like, I'm fit. And then you just hold that plateau forever. Well, that, yeah, you see Amber shaking her head. Why is that a bad idea, Amber? Unmute, you got to unmute yourself and tell us.
I use the term permafit. So a lot of times the athletes like to always feel good and be fit, but that kind of limits what you can do. So you need to cycle your season, build in some rest, and then build in the progressions to actually improve and get stronger. Sometimes you feel like, oh no, I'm losing all this fitness, but when you give up 2 steps, you're going to get back, 4 to 6. So it's so worth it to, lose a little bit right now and then come into Basecamp, use Basecamp to set up your season, whatever your goals are, whatever discipline of cycling you're into. You come out of Basecamp and you're either set to progress into something more specific or progress your base endurance even further. Yeah,
and permafit is the word. I mean, what happens when people are permafit, they stagnate. Training stagnation is what physiologically happens. And you actually decline in training stagnation because your body, it's no longer a stimuli. You're doing work, but there's no stimulus for response. Your body's not sending an adaptive signal. And you actually just get worse during that time. Your body wants progression. So you got to train for a while, down check, take that time off, as Amber just said. And that has to be physical and mental. Get out of all the structure for a little while. Go out and ride your bike in the, rack up miles. One harder day a week is enough. And harder, just as Rebecca said it perfectly, punch some hills, throw in a couple of sprints, ride a hard hour, But otherwise than that, just get in good old fashioned riding. Go out in the woods. It's beautiful. It's whatever. Enjoy it. Basecamp is meant to bring your fitness from minimal. I wouldn't say 0, so I got to be careful, right? Because I'm going to eat ice cream and lay around on the couch, so I'll be working harder. But the reality is from minimal fitness up. So we've got your back there. Just come in with some miles under your legs. Don't overstress it. One of the mistakes I see people making more every year, and I bet you some of my coaches see this too, for some reason each year, because racing has gotten a little earlier in the spring or events are moving earlier in the spring, people want to start like the next year in September. I'm going to start earlier. They're already ready to start the next year, right? You know what I mean? And this year particularly, I am being overwhelmed with that desire. Kathy, who runs Basecamp with me, and I have had discussions about should we start it a month early because of what's going on in the world today, and people are ready to restart. But the reality is that would be too much training, and in the integrity in the program is super important to us. The right answer is ride your bike, be unstructured, stay relaxed. I know it's something Scott and I were just talking about yesterday. He just won a rare gravel race a couple of days ago. What is today? Actually, just 2 days ago. And I asked him how much riding he's been doing. And Scott, how many rides have you had in the last 2 or 3 weeks?
About 2 or 3, probably.
See, he's not going to.
I was fresh.
He was very fresh. He's not going to burn time right now training and thinking about 21 and being too overextended. The reality is 2020 is not a great year. He knows how to reset his year. He's cruising along, enjoying it, having fun, what works for him. He'll get rolling again in November.
Yeah, I mean, have fun on your bike, stay active, maybe do some more stretching, some more mobility, some more yoga, some of those other things so that, you know, unlike Tim, I don't think you should sit and eat ice cream on the couch for the next however many months. And I know he's joking about that. But yeah, staying active, walking your dogs, going on a run, you know, enjoying riding your bike, super important. And Linda asked the same thing. How is it best to stay ready over the next few months? Just have fun and go out and be active. With unstructure, and then we'll get back into the structure and Basecamp. So Allie said another thing, is there a requirement to be on the group rides if you're unable to attend?
Not at all. You can execute.
Okay.
So we teach you how to hook up your account to Zwift, to Garmin, to Trainer Road, to whatever, and you can run it just like you did with RPI. Execute when you want. The group rides are fun, and when you can make them, make them. You know, it's fun to chat and have some fun, and you know, that's great. Or maybe you're a 5 a.m. trainer and you want to get your training out of the way. We'll show you how to automate it, do it, and it'll all just work.
Awesome. So Allie made a comment too that she uses rollers with Zwift, and she has the little dongle that reads her quart power meter. So that is one solution for people who have that set up. Christy asked, does the nutrition guidance in the pro level only span the 8 weeks of the nutrition boot camp, or is nutrition advice available through the 16 weeks?
I'll let Namrata answer that one, but she's on mute.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, yeah, so the pro level nutrition, we actually have ongoing nutrition support throughout the whole program. So it starts with a kickoff meeting. There's monthly nutrition Q&As with special topics. But the 8-week part is kind of like a meal plan that we all go through together. So it's a lot more intense. It's a lot more nutrition focused. So that's why we will have our own Facebook group for that 8-week period. But yeah, if you have certain nutrition goals or body composition goals you want to reach during Basecamp, you can always use the meal plan for longer than 8 weeks. You can use it for 12 or 16, whatever you need to get to your goals. And I will be there for support throughout the whole thing. But the actual like going through the boot camp together and following the meal plan together is 8 weeks. But yeah, there's support through the whole thing.
And when you guys are at boot camp, I'll sneak you in cake and beer. We're good.
Okay,
Again.
Tracy asked about the strength program. Namrata, did you have more to add?
No?
No, you're good. Okay, cake and beer is on the menu.
I love it.
Tracy asks, on the strength training program, will access to a gym be necessary, or will exercises be able to be completed with dumbbells, bands, etc., things that people would have in their home gym?
Yeah, so we do, we're working on some strength secrets, which maybe we'll make an announcement later. But basically the program is a circuit style training of movement, functional, the same type of work you're thinking, a combination of movements and functional strength building and core exercises. We do it in a circuit format. And if you understand a circuit format, it's sort of like a high intensity circuit format. So the average workout time is 14 to 18 minutes in the circuit. Actually, some of the first ones are 12. Because look, here's the reality of strength training. Your best answer is time in the gym, heavy posterior chain lifting. I think Stacy Sims said that. She's absolutely right. And other things, not only limited to that. But functional strength, we talk a lot about. Strength resistance, good old-fashioned gym work has a value. Now, the reality for most cyclists, we don't have the time. We commit like we're going to go into the gym and do all that, and we don't. We're so much better with an effective functional program and movement program that helps us be prepared to ride in a more ready state, helps us build core strength and movement specific strength and protect against injury. If anybody finds the time and wants that, I do have a strength resistance program in the gym, which I would gladly share with anybody on the strength program. But I want that person to ask, because otherwise than that, it's just you got to really have the time to get in the gym to do it. And that's hard. I do it every year. I'm like, I'm getting in the gym. I end up doing functional work because it's so hard to find the time to do
Well, and I think especially now too, a lot of gyms aren't open and stuff like that. So what's in your basement next to your trainer is often the best solution because it's there and it's the work that you'll do because it's more accessible.
And we really want to.
So Michael, yeah. Michael asked about, and this is maybe getting a little in deeper, but do you prefer using erg mode or non-erg mode in the Zwift workouts?
We actually have a video lesson on that.
Right. I knew you did.
I like 2 to 3 ratio, 2 erg modes, 1 off erg mode. Erg mode has an advantage for your power stroke. It does require, because you're resisting force specifically, so it has an advantage, but too much of it is not good. You tend to become a drone, a response drone. The muscle memory actually gets lost in always doing it that way. So I always say do 2 in erg mode, do 1 and out. Do 2 in erg mode, 1 out. And we actually build some workouts that are, we're going to tell you to turn off erg mode. Like you have to execute the workout outside of erg mode. So we help guide you through it. And for those of you who don't know,
Awesome.
erg mode means the trainer is specifically controlling the resistance to an exact watt.
Yeah, erg mode was new to me this year. And I was like, whoa, you really can't cheat, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes you work.
So Lisa asked, which is the best bike to hook up to the trainer? And I'm guessing she means her gravel bike or mountain bike, her road bike, whatever bike.
That's a great question. Serena, you haven't answered a question. What bike do you have in your trainer?
I usually have my road bike on the trainer because trainers are getting more sophisticated now that you can use different through axles and not just a standard quick release. And so you could put a different bike on there, but traditionally I've used my road bike on the trainer. If you were training only indoors and never riding outside and you were training for mountain biking or gravel, maybe you would want that bike on there. I also think that fit and consistency between bikes is really important. So if your road bike and you're racing mountain bikes and your road bike doesn't fit you because you haven't invested the time in getting a fit, then don't put your road bike on the trainer. So yeah, but that's what it's easier just to leave a road bike on there.
I have an old frame with, I think it's a 9-speed with 3 actual working gears, because I'm pretty sure it has the original cable on it still. And it's totally not very, it's got at least 20 extra watts in friction in between the chain and the old crank. And I'm literally waiting for the point where it just rots out from underneath me. Like someday I ride it and whatever. But as Rebecca said, it is nice if you have an old beater bike, it's always on there. That's the thing, right? I never have to take it off. I never deal with it. And it's like, oh, I just want to jump out in the trainer, bam, I'm on that bike. It might have to get an upgrade this year. The limited gearing is becoming more of a problem, but we'll see.
I had my gravel bike on the trainer quite a bit. It is nice if you have the ability to have a dedicated bike that's on there, but like Serena said, make sure the fit is compatible, because you don't want to be limited. If you need an extra 15 minutes to like get the bike from the garage, hook it up on the trainer, it's just another barrier to entry to get your workout in. So if you can leave your system set up inside, but also leave your outside bike available. So if the weather's good, you can pop outside. If you have the luxury of that, that's the way to go. If you don't, and you're moving a bike, it's not a big deal. Like Serena said, you take the through axle off, you pop your bike on. And I did that for quite a while with my gravel bike, and it works great. Okay, Nate asks, this is a good question because I do this, Nate, and I've done this for years. Realizing Basecamp is a cycling program, is it possible to incorporate other sports such as cross-country skiing for some of the workouts?
Absolutely.
Tim, I want to hear what you say about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big fan of it in general. It depends exactly quite how focused you are, but I'm a big fan of it in general. And all you have to do is ask. And Rebecca knows I'll prescribe workouts like go ride your bike, go cross country ski, fat bike, ski, snowshoe, whatever. We'll give those options. So yes, and that's what's great about having such a group of experts, right? The plan is written around the exercise. It is exercise focused on cycling. But if you're like, wow, if I want to translate this to cross-country skiing, what do I do? Post that question. You'll get really great answers, right? And then, so
Yeah.
you have to, yeah, you'll go back in and change your own workout, but you'll be doing it with guidance and expert guidance.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said for changing up your workouts, especially if you're only a cyclist, for doing some weight-bearing activity, for doing some, core and stand-up. Cross-country skiing is an amazing workout if you have access to it.
Yep.
All right, Elizabeth asks, for the strength training program, is it a separate program on top of the cycling program, or does it use the same amount of planned time with less riding to allow for the strength workout?
It's on top of.
Like, how do you figure that out?
Yeah, it's on top of, but that's why we use the circuit training. So it's usually 14 to 18 minutes a session. So think about it like a high intensity blend, and it's not quite high intensity. I'm always cautious to say that. It's a circuit of movement and strength, cycling specific functional strength. And it's really meant to complement and work with the plan. So we understand, and that's the key question we wanted to answer. Most people don't have time for both. So if you run a really tight, streamlined functional program that's supporting your cycling program, that's the best way to bring results when you also have a job and kids and family and everything else going.
Awesome. We are through the questions, Tim.
Woo!
And coaches. I know that it was amazing. A lot of really good questions.
Yeah.
Do you or the coaches have anything you want to add?
I probably have added everything that I could possibly add, but does any of the team have anything to add?
I would add that so many of these questions are going to be, the small questions are going to be answered in the digest and in the Facebook groups. So don't be overwhelmed if you're like, oh, I'm not sure about this or I'm not sure about that, because that's what we're here for. And with all of the resources that you'll be given prior to the first day of training, you'll be set up and ready to go. So we are here to answer those questions around minutia as we get closer and closer to kickoff.
Yeah, that's a great point. Don't stress the technology. Everybody does at first when they're new to all this. We have a very simple system of walking you through it, and you'll be like, wow, this is so cool. It's so easy. I think that's
Awesome.
it.
I mean, if you can get me to do it, you can get anybody to do it. If you can walk me
were
through
great.
the technology and all that.
You did great. You were up and running in 2 tries. No,
I watched your videos multiple times. I'd watch the video like 3 times and be like, okay, I can do it.
you guys, we do have a little video for everything. It is funny. We've got your back. We'll make sure you get rolling. It'll be good. Because people get nervous about it. Technology scares us. And it is what it is, right? We've mastered it. We'll implement a system for you that you'll learn it and we'll walk you through it. And understand that's something you'll have forever too. You'll be able to actually execute your own Swift and connect it to training plans and things like that. So it'll be some fun learning.
That's cool. I love it. I'm excited for it to start, but not quite yet, because I do want to just go right outside with a little bit of free structure for a little while.
Me too.
Amber, Scott, do you guys have anything else to add to the group?
I would definitely, without it sounding like a sales pitch, I would sign up early and often, because this thing does sell out, and you can certainly get a refund if things go south or your plans change for 2021 or whatever. But zero obligation. Lock in your spot now, and looking forward to seeing you in November.
The thing is, guys, people get mad. They're like, well, it says it doesn't start till November 30th. But it does say there's a limit, sign up now. I guess most people don't really mean that. So we sell out, and then people are like, well, we didn't know it was going to sell out. So sign up. Amber?
Yeah, I would just touch on the intimidation side that you mentioned at the beginning. Don't be intimidated. You have a coaching team that wants to walk alongside you. I mean, if you're completely new to training, I was that girl who wore underwear under her bike shorts, and I had somebody come alongside me and tell me, don't do that. I've had people come alongside and help me learn various pieces of the puzzle along the way and share their wisdom, share their time, share their resources. So you have a coaching team here that wants to share everything we've learned as athletes and coaches with you to help you be better. you know, whether you're just starting or whether you're trying to win the Masters World Championship, you know, from the beginning to the very top, we'll walk alongside you and share everything we know to help you be better.
That's a pretty good finish.
I mean, it's great. None of these rock star coaches are here to make themselves look good. They're here to help all of you guys. So yeah, that's a really great point, Amber. Is it, you know, you're not here to like boost your own ego or your own resume. You're here to help people. So yeah, you guys don't need to boost your resumes.
Well, we get joy in helping people, so it's fun. You know,
Exactly.
I mean, it's so motivating for us as much as it is for the athletes in the program.
And you guys,
I mean, it's a good segue. It's how I felt from RPI Challenge. I felt so motivated by the rest of the group, knowing that like you guys all actually helped me do my workouts, like Tim said, and it wasn't me giving to you. It was very much a two-way street. And I think this will be the same kind of program.
So there's the last question that came up. I want to answer it real quick. So my gut feeling seems like this is more for sprint building. No, not at all, Lisa. I mean, it's not. This is about your aerobic engine, foundational base training. We don't do much sprinting at all. This is about building your aerobic capacity. So to be clear on that. You guys, if you have any other questions, info@joinbasecamp.com. It's that simple. Kathy, who you know from RPI and the Training Plan Queen, she monitors that email and will gladly answer any additional questions. So it's info@joinbasecamp.com. One overriding observation about when you know you're a professional athlete, I can just see it in Amber's little picture. Look at that professional tan line she has on the arm. That is so pro. Look at that. That's totally
That's
pro.
California too, right? So it's been 115 to 90. It was 70 the other day and I was freezing.
That's a total pro tan line. You go, girl. Sorry. All right, Rebecca, back to you to close it. Sorry.
No, you're good. Do you have that slide we can put up so people know how to stay connected and stay in touch with everybody? So I will say, as Tim's pulling that up, the RPI Challenge was the start of a community. It was the start of you guys building friendships, you guys building community, you guys learning who we are as coaches and mentors and support and educators. And so this may feel like an end and you're kind of sad and like, what do I do next without Tim? And, but really it's the beginning. You've made so many friendships and community and we want to stick together. So you can find me at Rebecca Rusch. You can find Tim at joinbasecamp.com. And like I said, this is we're entering into hopefully a cycle for the year of, you know, Basecamp winter training, Giddy Up Challenge in the spring, summer of riding and having fun and doing whatever personal goals you have, and then fall with RPI Challenge, and then we go back into Basecamp, and it's a cycle that a professional athlete would follow, that you know, anyone at any level would follow a cycle of that. And so, you know, I have to thank Tim and Basecamp for bringing this like model together, because it wouldn't have worked without his team. And it's kind of exciting. 2020 has pushed us all to limits and challenges that we did not expect. And this whole program and kind of a year laid out for you, should you choose to be our teammates going forward. This was all because 2020 pushed us out of our comfort zone, and we had to create something new and different. And what's so exciting is, you know, it's taking us to another level. And the best way that I can describe that RPI felt this year in year number 8 is that it was more intimate than ever, because I rode the courses, you know, with 1 or 2 friends, and I really was very intimate with the course, but it was also more global than it's ever been. And even though there were less people on the ground here with me, far less people, I felt more connected in a way to all of you that I've never felt before. And that was what is really special about what we've built through the Basecamp model and taking it to RPI and Giddy Up. And so Tim and the Basecamp team, thank you. for pushing us and doing this together. And all of you who are here and hopefully continuing to be our teammates, thank you for being pioneers and showing up, because it wouldn't happen without you. And Scott, Amber, Serena, I'm really looking forward to some rides with all of you this winter. I'm excited to ride alongside you. And that's all I have. Please stay connected. We're not going anywhere, and enjoy riding your bike. You know, we should all go for a bike ride, as Pete Beers would say. It's that easy and it's that simple, but let's do it together. And Tim, if you have anything else?
Nope.
Nothing
Thanks,
else?
everybody. We appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Bye
Be
now.
good. That's the
See you, everybody.
cowbell.